Holy Wire Mod.
Holy Wire Mod here, and this is going to be tutorial 16C in the Lewis series, where we're going to continue on the subject of entities, and we're going to talk how to make a custom entity this time. So let's do something a little different here. We're going to actually make this for single player, so you can spawn it in the spawn menu. And since our game mode doesn't have a spawn menu, I figure I might as well take this opportunity to teach you how to make stuff for single player. So I've already created a folder here in entities called my entity. Now, if you don't know where your entities folder is, well, you go to Steam, then you go to Steam Apps, and my name's Choctar, Gary's Mod, and then you go to Lua, and you go to Entities, and then you create this folder, my entity, go in there, and we create 3 more files here. So, just like in game mode, we're going to have init.lua, and we're also, oops, I'm going to close that. We're also going to have cl_init for the client side, and shared.lua. So we have shared. Now let's open all of these up. Alright, so let's start with init, this long one. So first we're going to start like we would any init. We're going to add cslua file. And we're in the entities folder with the subfolder of my entity. And the file is client_init.lua. And we're also going to copy that and put shared right here. So that's going to be shared.lua. We're going to copy this, go to include, and include that file as well. Alright, so let's start with the functions. First, we need to initialize the entity. So to do that, we type initialize right here, go self, and let's set the model of the entity. So we're going to be using models/props underscore borealis /blue barrel 1001.mdl. And that MDL is very important, don't forget it, or else you're going to get an error. Alright, so next let's set the color. Actually I should just do this a couple more times. Alright, set color to a color, so this is going to be the initial color here, so we set to this with a little transparency at first. Then it really doesn't matter because we're going to be doing something involving the color later. So now we're going to set the physics up for the prop that we're making. So let's say vPhysics right here, so solid underscore vPhysics. Now we need to set up the move type. That's moveType underscore vPhysics. And also we're going to set it as a solid, so we're going to say solid underscore vPhysics, just like with PhysicsInit. Alright, so that's everything with the physics. Now let's add a goopy command here. We'll say we'll ignite, and that's with a capital I, so ignite the barrel as soon as it spawned. And let's create a timer just to throw in some past tutorials in here too. It's going to end, we'll say if self is valid, so if the owner did not press the Z key and get rid of it, then self remove. Alright, and we're going to then do the last important step here. We'll just say, we'll call this variable phys or something like that for physics, and we'll say get physics object. And so we're going to check again, is this valid? If it is, then we're going to wake, and That's everything for initialization. Now we can add some other things with some functions. Say, what happens if we actually use the entity, which has the arguments caller and activator? Well, okay, let's say if we use it, that we're going to set the health to 200. Okay, so what about if we touch it? And that has the argument entity. We can even do something then. We can just kill whoever touches it. And actually, let's do a conditional check. So we'll say if entity I'll put here, put is player. So if it's not a player, then return. Otherwise, kill the entity that it touched. And lastly, you also have a think for this that you can play around with. Oh, not a trink, a think. And let's make the entity change colors like crazy. So we'll say self set color, and let's have fun here, and we'll say random color from 0 to 255 for the red, green, and blue as such. And that should be it for init. Now the other two files are not this long. That was all the typing you're pretty much going to be doing. This is just to set up in share.lua. We're going to set up some properties for our object. So the type of int is going to be enum. We're going to set the base to base underscore Gmod entity. And here we're going to print the name of the int, which is going to be my entity. So we're going to give it some instructions now and say play with and use me. Actually, we have something for touching, so we'll say touch and use me. There you go. And now we will set it to where it is spawnable with this command right here. So now we can spawn it in the menu, in the queue menu. The author, we'll say holding wire mod, and the purpose is a learning experience. Alright, now we just need to set the client, and that's it. So client is very simple. First off, we need to include, actually I'm just going to grab this from the init on the server side. I'm just going to paste that right here. And we're going to have a function called int draw, and this is for the client to draw it, and we're going to draw the model. Now you can also put other things here involving client side, like draw entity outline is one of them. But for now, we're just going to keep this simple, and we're going to draw the model. So let's go in game, and we'll check out this entity. Alright, so we're now in single player, and got an error to look at real quick, which is very minor. It's me forgetting to put the parentheses right here for draw model. So anyway, let's go in game now. Press the Q menu, go to entities, should be under other, and here we have my entity. And as you can see, it ignited at first, now it's changing colors, and after 5 seconds it's disappearing, which is what we specified. So we have the blue barrel, ignites after 5 seconds, remove it, and all that. So let's use it, and I pressed the use key, it set my health to 200, and I touched it, and it killed me. So everything works. You can actually play around with it. Oh no, bam. So that's how you create an entity. If you have any more questions on the topic, feel free to leave a comment. And until next video, I will see you then.